Help yourself. Well,
oh, vegetarian.
That looks like a dog biscuit,
All right, I needed more. Oh, they got chins in them.
They are. I'll tap the packet. What I do have. For you guys. Right, there's no more burgers now for a few minutes. So, there's loads of sausages if anybody wants sausages. I'm trying to keep it all separate here.
It's not professional.
It is. You made it, May. What we're doing today is celebrating 30 years of Lichfield and Hatherton Canals Restoration Trust. And particularly what this event also wants to do is say a huge thank you to all our wonderful volunteers. We are all volunteers. The ones that do the real... Oh, we're all unpaid, yes. We're all volunteers. Thank you, George. And the ones who do the real hard graft work, and there's many of them here, you know, they, as you've seen in press reports, they're out whatever the weather, however many wasps are about. And winter, summer, gallons of water consumed this summer. So particularly you guys mostly, thank you very much. And you see what an amazing difference the trust makes to places. This was brambles, rubbish, the odd supermarket basket, bits of old pipe. When we started clearing it, I think I had National Citizen Service youngsters over a year ago starting to clear this out. So, thank you to our volunteers, and not forgetting to the increasing number of young people groups that we have. Queenscroft High School, who painted the boat, Foresters Scouts from Yoxall, 7th Lichfield are starting to join us later this month, Duke of Edinburgh youngsters doing their volunteering, and I've missed some, Walsall College, possibly South Staffs College. So we have a lot of youngsters, and amongst our, what I call the heavy brigade, our regular volunteers, we have, I think, or have they escaped, Josh and Harry, we have some youngsters, there they are. So we're not all geriatric. Now, you know, what we're always trying to do with the Trust is to make places accessible. I think we've done a brilliant job down here, and thanks need to go to Colin Graverex and the County Council, because there was a substantial chunk of money that definitely kick-started this restoration. And doing what the Trust does so well, rises to a challenge. I think you gave us about
1850, I think it was.
well, I know it was 1850, but 2-3 months
Yes,
to get the
sorry.
job done. So, you know, give Lichfield and Hatherton Canals a challenge, and away we go. Tunnel vision, massive challenge. We've got to get there, and I'll just say, no, I'll say it now. It's opposite. I know lots of you have given donations already. Any donations you can get, any ways you can support us. We have a massive drive at the moment to get that £1 million to get under the mainline railway. So, I think with no more than, also, I'm sorry Bob, I should have said, we're not only represented by County Councillor and District Councillor, but by the Chairman of Lichfield District Council and several other councillors. Debbie I can see there, and if I've missed anybody out, excuse me. But we are extremely grateful too for City Council and the District Council. I know the Town Clerk's here somewhere, from City Council. Thanks, Tony. We're most grateful for all the help, support, advice we get from our wonderful local councillors. I think that's the thanks. But
Sponsors.
sitting on the bench there, are
Three old fogies.
three old fogies who are responsible for all this. These three guys, with another three who sadly are no longer with us, were the people who had the vision 30 years ago to embark on this absolutely crazy project to restore 14 miles of canal, much of which had been built on. So, before they're probably going to fight as to who's cutting the cake, and I'm not choosing between them, but each one of them, Phil as now chair of Lichfield branch of Inland Waterways, Eric as our president, Dennis still a long-standing, looking after really the Hatherton end, so still very much part of the trust and active all the time. I'm going to get each of them to say a few words and then decide between them who's going to cut the cake.
Okay.
So, thanks very much.
Well, thanks very much to Christine for inviting us and inviting all you to this event today. And yes, it's hard to believe it was 30 years ago we started all this off. In fact, the meeting which took the fateful decision to form the trust was on the 13th of July in 1988. And that was held at Eric's house in Whittington. And Eric had been working for some while prior to that through a group called the West Midlands Restoration Group BCN Initiative, which was something set up by the Inland Waterways Association, who were concerned about the lack of use of parts of the BCN, particularly the northern areas, Worling and Essington and Walsall and Tame Valley canals, and had the idea that if they could reopen one or the other of the former links from the rest of the canal system, then it would get more boats and activity and would ensure that they survived, because in those days their existence was still under threat. Not only that, of course, but the two canals involved, the 7 miles of the Lichfield Canal and the Hatherton branch, were attractive routes in their own right. So I was press ganged by Eric into joining this group at the 5th meeting on that date in July, and it was recorded that after much discussion it was agreed to form a restoration group, and formal application would be made by Mr. Goodwin to the Charities Commission. And the aim was to promote the restoration of the Hatherton and Ogley branches of the Worley and Essington Canal. And the name of the trust will be the Lichfield and Hatherton Canals Restoration Trust. Now, in fact, it took some while after that, as you can imagine, to actually establish the company and to register it as a charity. And it wasn't until January 1990 that was all in place and the trust was officially in existence and trading. And meanwhile, we operated under the name of Lichfield and Hatherton Canal Restoration Society. But we were actively establishing contacts, Eric in particular, with his local knowledge of councillors and key people, was setting the scene for the trust to get up and get moving. The people involved in that original decision, unfortunately some of them are no longer with us, they've passed on. But it's nice on this occasion perhaps just to remember them briefly. So Ken Goodwin was a director of the Inland Waterways Association and chairman for a number of years, and he was very keen on restoration projects and supporting them all over the country. He used to travel thousands of miles going round to meetings, encouraging people to set up and make progress with their schemes. And his knowledge was great benefit to us in the early days, we'll agree, because most of us had never done anything like this before. So, and he was able to bring his knowledge of what had already been achieved elsewhere. Ron Pritchard was another founder member, and he was for quite a long while the chairman of the West Midlands region of the Inland Waterways Association. In fact, when he became ill, that was a post I later took over from him, and his knowledge of the BCN was extensive, and again was a great assistance to us. Nick Graysbrook, of course, you know, because he was for about the first 10 years he was the treasurer of the trust. Nick's background was he was a solicitor practicing in Birmingham, and he'd already assisted through IWA a number of restoration societies in setting them up, and he devised a constitution, if you like. So he wrote the memorandum and articles of association, which have stood the test of time. They were very comprehensive and really enabled us to do whatever we needed to do. And of course Brian Kingshott, who was for many years the secretary of the trust, and then when Eric retired, took over as chairman. And all sadly passed away. But the three of us here are left, still holding the fort and waving the flag, and hopefully for a few more years yet. And it's great to see how much progress has been made over the intervening 30 years. So I'll shut up now for a little while and let Dennis have a say, because he was actually involved earlier than I was, so his memories go back a bit further.
Right.
Thank you.
These are raffle tickets I've just been sold. I learnt about this little meeting, was it yesterday or the day before? My involvement with the trust does go back a little further.
Shout up, Dennis.
Right!
That's better.
My involvement probably goes back a little further. Nick Graysbrook, who has just been mentioned, was a customer of ours. He got wooden boats at the time. We had a boatyard on the BCN. We still have a boatyard on the BCN on the Cannock Extension Canal. And if you cast your minds back, the Birmingham Northern Relief Road, which is now the M6 toll, came onto the scene with about 5 different routes proposed. One of them cut straight through our boatyard. Nick was a customer and had been for some considerable years, and I mentioned it to him. I said, look, if nothing's done about this situation, you're going to lose any opportunity of restoring the Haverton or the Litchfield canals. And he took it up with IWA Birmingham, and from that it came down the line to the trust being formed. I had already started work with Cannock on a restoration scheme on a section of the Haverton, which would have been a very pleasant walk. It's still there now, and it is a pleasant walk. But the things then gathered pace. I remember going in, taking Ken Goodwin and Eric down to Cardiff to meet O'Varra, discuss feasibility studies, and being asked if I would be chairman of the trust. I said, no way, I've got a small business to run. And it progressed from there. I got involved with the Haverton. I've not really been involved with the Litchfield. I'm still involved with the Haverton in what is being done at the moment, which is mainly agricultural, cutting grass, trimming hedges. So on that, I'll hand you over to Eric. He's the man who's done all this.
I'm so pleased to be still here. It is a great, it's a great amusement to me to know that I'm still here. Right in the very beginning, I was working on the Trent Mersey with the Trent Mersey Canal Society, and in those days we were restoring the mileposts some of you may know that during the war they took the mileposts out because if the Germans have dropped here they would immediately know where they were on the canal. So they took all the mileposts out. A lot of them were distributed around the country and hidden, but many of them were put in the right at Gas Street Basin. So they were collected from Gas Street Basin and brought down, and I had the job of helping to restore them, painting them. And when I moved to Whittington Wharf, I managed to find this cottage. My wife and I had a boat which was built out of a recycled gas holder, and I couldn't afford any other, and I got this chap to build it for me. And with the boat that I had, I moved to Whittington, and when I was there I looked at this canal which was up the side of it through Lichfield Cruising Club, and I thought, why, that's a nice little arm, where does that go to? So I got the maps out and had a look at it all, and I thought, this is completely balmy, why is this canal being closed? So I looked into it and I went to Lichfield Cruising Club. They were not very happy about it at all. In fact, when I suggested I was going to try and open it, my name became Mud, not Mud. So anyway, over the years they now accepted us, and of course they're very much in favour of us. Right at the very beginning we had a lot of opposition. People didn't want the canal to come. I spoke to old boatmen, and one of the chaps I spoke to was a chap called Ike Argent. Now some of the older people here may remember Ike Argent. He used to have a boat and pot up and down, and he used to come along the Lichfield Canal. I said, why was it shut? He said, oh, because it's always run out of bloody water. I said, how do you mean? He said, well, he says it's built on sand and gravel. And of course, this is the trouble with it. It did come in from sand and gravel, and of course it didn't hold water for any length of time. So I thought, well, is it worthwhile trying to get this back? But of course, the way we build canals these days, we can take into consideration the fact that it might lose a bit of water en route. So it's a good idea to have gone forward. I had to fight people like Councillor Ryman, who was then chairman of Lichfield District Council, and he owned a bit of the land on the Lichfield Canal. No way would he want the canal going back into restoration, so it was very difficult to get him to change his mind. I don't think he ever did. He went on to the county council eventually and disappeared from the local area. Right at the very beginning we had a lot of problems. Anyway, now we've got past that, a lot of people are very positive. I've had tremendous help over the years. I have to say congratulations to the team that are working at the moment. This year they've achieved a great deal, more than I ever thought was possible. And the work party that we have, well, the series of work parties, I just can't believe the amount of work that they've done. It really has been superb. Put your hands together and thank them all for the work they've done. This is to all the people. I can't work on the land these days. I can't do it. I would love to do it, but I can't do it. I've handed it on to others, and people like Peter Buck, he's taken over, done a wonderful job. And I think the work that they've done is absolutely wonderful. Anyway, with that I'm going to say thank you all for your support today. Thank you for coming here. May you continue to support the Trust, because I personally think it's a worthwhile cause, and it's only 6 miles 7 furlongs anyway, that's the Lichfield Canal. It's no great distance at all, but it will make a vast difference to the northeast corner of the BCN. It'll open up a lot of area going to Dennis's boatyard. It'll bring him a lot of trade, hopefully, and bring a lot of money up to the northeast corner of BCN. It will open up a lot of beautiful canal routes through Lichfield and beyond. And thank you for your support.
I think I failed to acknowledge the fact that May Brown, who for many years has served on our display marketing team and made lots of cakes, beautiful cakes, has made us this celebratory cake, which
It's got a dent in the middle, so it's a breach at middle ridge.
By design, of course.
Yes, of course, yes.
Eric, do we trust you with that? I think.
It is a great privilege for me to be here today.
Grateful for all the help, support, advice we get from our wonderful local councillors. I think that's the thanks. But sitting on the
Phil here at the side of me, thank you very much. I'm going to cut the
Cut it in the middle, Eric, please.
oh, cut it in the breach.
No,
How about
the other
that?
way, the other way. Where the dent is.
across it.
Where the dent is. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. Then I can cut it up in.
How about
Here,
that?
have we got serviette? Please. Don't think that might get
Is that your piece?
which half do you want, Eric? Harry, James. No, come on here. And don't they look clean and energetic, having run 10K this morning? James wants the biggest piece of cake.
Okay.
Cream made with lemon.
Have we got
Grab a serviette and grab a piece of cake.
seriously? Oh, haven't you? Would you like icing? Yes. Corner piece.
I eat anything. Absolutely. Thank you very much.
No, we can't. Let's start here.
Cake.
You want me to have the serviettes?
Yes.